Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Salim Mohammed Bilal Butler. My given name is James Butler. I was born in Christchurch, New Zealand. My father was in Air Force as a squadron leader, so we had to move around the country a bit. So we ended up in Titahi Bay, which is a great place to grow up, and had a Christian upbringing, which is the usual for New Zealand. My father was Catholic and my mother was Baptist or Christian in one way or another. So that was a good upbringing. I had a lot of fun through that, youth groups and everything. Family life was really good and placid and calm, very, very lovely family. And as I grew older, I started having a few more questions as to what and where we came from, and mainly the question in regards to Prophet Isa, which is Jesus in Christian terms, as to his crucifixion. That was the main question, which I think a lot of Muslims online I've listened to have had the same question. So as I grew older and started getting out of the workforce, those questions became bigger. And then one day I went around to see a friend of mine to have a few beers, because I was a non-Muslim at that stage, just for the record. And he'd reverted to Islam, alhamdulillah, so to my shock. And so I asked him quite a few questions about things and watched him do his prayer, which instantly brought tears to my eyes, because watching a friend I had gone out and womanized with, not with him but with ladies, reciting Arabic was just amazing. And Arabic is the most beautiful, beautiful language to listen to. So after about 2 weeks of learning and asking questions, which were, I think, too many for the poor guy to answer, but he did his best, I reverted to Islam. So I've been a Muslim for about just under 10 years now. And good, yeah, I've learnt bits of Arabic and can recite my prayers in Arabic, alhamdulillah. And I'm now married to a lovely Malaysian Muslima and have a 6-year-old boy, Ilyas. When I was growing up, Islam wasn't really around in New Zealand much at all. All I knew about Islam was camels, sand, and people going all the time. So, and I'm not meaning to joke about that, but like that's all I knew. That's how ignorant most of us Kiwis were at that stage. Of course, Islam is a lot more prominent now in New Zealand, alhamdulillah, and people are a lot more understanding towards it. But being Christian at the time, or at least thinking I was, the people I went to church with, they were absolutely lovely people. It was a Baptist church I went to. They were very nice people, very good, understanding people, not judgmental. I found the church really wonderful. They used to do a lot of hymns and that, but I didn't really learn much from it. No disrespect on the religion themselves or the people. But I find with Islam, you can ask questions, you get sound answers. And I found even with reading the Bible, both the Old Testament and the New Testament, there's a lot of contradictions. There's no disrespect on that book either when I say that. I just found too many things not right with one book to the other, and things missing from one book from the other, and it shouldn't be like that. Like with the Quran, it is the same from the day it was first written. I went and took my father out into Pyro, into a mall, to tell him, because I was so frightened about his outcome, what he would be thinking, because in our generation you respect your parents, you don't want to upset them. So me being the colourful person when I was growing up, I used to be a Rastafarian one day and then heavy metal the next. So telling him that I'd become a Muslim was a pretty big thing. So when I told him, he just laughed, and which also made me almost cry, because I was shocked that he would be so rude to me. But he laughed because he was saying, he said to me, I'm happy that at least one of my 5 children is still religious and believes in God. And I was like, oh, do you know who Allah is? And he goes, yes, Allah means one God. And I was just shocked. So, and he just accepted me from that point onwards. My mother took a little bit longer, but she accepted me. And the way that they accepted me the most is with Islam being a way of life. What you practice is what you preach. So in a way, I became more loving, understanding. I got myself out of debt. I was gambling. I lost $30,000 worth of money. Got out of gambling. stopped drinking, drugs, the whole lot of it, and they could see the improvements, and then they started asking questions about what Islam is about, and realised that it wasn't actually such a horrible religion after all, and how close it was to Christianity in a lot of ways too, which is what they could only base it from. So yeah, so they accepted me, and my family took a bit longer too, but they didn't not like me during that process. They still respected me, but as you become something, you tend to preach a lot about it, you know. So like when I first became a Muslim, I wanted the whole world to become Muslim, so I had to sort of tone it down a bit and let people come to me and ask questions, which is what they do now. Had Islam not come my way, I would probably either be dead, or I would have been arrested, or I was going down a very bad path, and yeah, it makes me sad thinking about it. But looking at what things are now, I'm so very grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be given the opportunity to help others and to become a Muslim.